In The God I Was Given, I write about Roy. Hello, friends. My name is Scott Lloyd, scholar of race, religion, culture, and communication. Perhaps many of you have read my viral blog piece that I wrote in 2020 to my childhood friend, a black young man who trusted me enough to walk with me into white spaces, my church, my home, my world. I didn't even realize, not back then, how one-sided that journey was. Roy came to my church. He was part of the bus ministry, and he stayed in my house. He sat at my table, but I never sat at his. And that simple fact, so ordinary it went unnoticed, has haunted me because it reveals how racism doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just assumes whiteness is the center. In this book, I wrestle with the kind of faith that let that happen, a faith that claimed to love everyone but never questioned the systems it benefited from, a faith that praised Roy's presence but never asked why he was the only black young man in the room, a faith that preached salvation but skipped past justice. The God that I was given didn't ask me to see that racism. He asked me to behave, to believe, to belong, and I did until I couldn't. Because when you've truly loved someone the way that I did Roy and the way that Roy did me, you realize that he suffered more than he should have, and that somehow the expectations of whiteness that I accepted, they started to crack. And that's where this book lives, in the space between memory and mercy, between confession and conviction, between the God I was handed and the God that I'm now learning to follow. The Roy that I knew didn't get to hear this part of the story. He died from complications of a brain tumor in his late 20s. But I carry him with me on every page, because if your theology can't account for the Roys in the world and their pain, it's not worth much. If you can't honor the patience, the presence, and the grace of young men and women like Roy, then what are you doing? The God that I was given explores how racism shaped me and the way that I'm still learning to dismantle it in my own heart. You see, the gospel isn't supposed to protect our comfort. It's supposed to wreck it. Roy walked into my world with courage and grace, and this book is me finally walking back into his with open eyes, an open heart, and a different kind of faith than the one that I started with.